happens is I lose my radio. That's all right. Adjust that thing a little bit. All right. Thursday. Yay. Another day in the books. Yeah, I know I'm a little early today. That's all right. I got to jump around with my times anyway to figure out, like, when I'm going to have the biggest audience. Of course, I'm not really keeping up with that much either. You guys can decide my audience because it's up to you to come in or not. So, hi Ashley, how you doing? Doing all right today? Yeah. What are you up to? Nothing? You're bored? Well, you ought to find something to do. I'm sure there's plenty of things that you could probably be doing that would, occupy some of that boredom. I'm gonna go home and watch some TV. Do this with the remote, I don't know. I might do some VR later on today. It just kind of depends. Don't you pull out in front of me, you dumb son of a bitch. God, people are stupid. I mean, he was thinking about it. I'll tell you that right now. There's nothing to do around here. I've never leave the house. Well, maybe you should. Maybe you should venture out and spread your wings a little bit, huh? Ain't you got a bicycle or something you can get around on? Oh, I know. Whenever, you can get a job, like in your spare time, that'll take care of some of the boredom, and you'll get paid for it to take care of some of your boredom. I'm not lecturing you. I'm just, common sense. You'll do what you want to do, but I don't know. If it was me, I think I'd try and find some kind of employment, maybe. But that's all right. So I had a short day today. The problem with working, 10 hours a day, I don't know. I worked a couple of nines this week. I worked 9 hours. Let's see. I worked 10 hours Tuesday and Wednesday. Or no, wait a minute. Monday and Wednesday I worked 10 hours. Tuesday I worked 9. Today I worked 8. So tomorrow, depending on what these pileup is tomorrow, I got a bunch of vehicles that are supposed to go out. So probably tomorrow I'm going to be working a 10-hour shift. I'm not really sure yet. Depends on how backed up I am. I know we've already started the month, so we're not at the end of the month, which means there's not a real big push tomorrow. But I've still got a bunch of stuff that I got to get out. Actually, I could have stayed and done. I have 3 sitting in my bay right now that need to be inspected. I probably could have stayed and done those, but if I had done those, then tomorrow morning I wouldn't have anything to do, and I'd be bored, and I'd be sitting around doing nothing. So if I'm going to be at work, I want to be gainfully employed. I like to stay busy, and the only way that I can figure staying busy in the morning was to leave some vehicles that needed to be done this evening or today. So there we have it. Man, that is a badass truck. I don't know if you guys have seen the Toyota 4Runners, the new ones. These things are badass. I guess maybe next time I'll look at getting a different kind of car by a different manufacturer. I've been with Chevrolet for so long that, I'm just accustomed to having Chevrolet cars. And so I haven't really shopped around. I mean, I saw, like, last time I went to I went to CarMax and looked at some stuff. But, you know, CarMax, God, they charge such a terrible interest rate. So I've got my car that I'm paying for now, I got a 6.9% interest rate, which is still high, but it's not as bad as like CarMax would have been, like a 9 point something, almost a 10% for any car that I wanted to get from them. So I decided not to. I stayed with Chevrolet and I bought a brand new car. See, that's another advantage to buying a brand new car, is that when you buy a brand new car, you can get a lower interest rate than you can on a used car. And why that is, I don't know, but that's just the way it works out. So that's what I did. I got a brand new car. I got a good rate. Now I'm going to be paying for it for 6 years, but, you know, check and balances, right? If the car lasts, I mean, I've had it since September. It's only got 8,000 miles on it, and you know that's pretty good considering that. Let's see, I had a 2022 Chevy Trailblazer that I bought in 2021. So I had it just under 3 years, and it had 59,000 miles on it. So if you take that 59 and divide it by 3, that's like, let's see, 15 or probably 17,000 miles a year, which is still not bad. But you know, when you got a car that's 3 years old and it's got 50,000, 60,000 miles on it, they don't really want to give you much for it. But when I went to trade it in, they did pay off the Trailblazer. I had a little Trailblazer RS Rally Sport, and they put me in a Equinox, which is the next step up. So instead of driving a $21,000 vehicle, I'm driving a $33,000 vehicle. And but if it lasts me, you know, and I don't put a lot of miles on it, if I ever go to trade it in, I can get another good rate. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, I got 9 people watching. How about you folks that are watching? Tap the screen twice. Give me some likes. Even if you, I don't know, you guys even speak. There's a lot of people in here probably aren't even going to speak English. They probably just come to look at my pretty face. That's what it is. Everybody wants to see me. You know, I'm a legend in North Carolina. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not conceited or anything. I just think it's funny that, you know, it's like I'm really popular where I'm from, but, you know, I get on here and like nobody like my stuff. I don't know. Maybe I can get some subscribers. That would help. That would really help. I've got 553 subscribers, I think, and I've been doing this now for about 6 or 7 years. So I'm like right on course. I think I've had like 490 some odd thousand views. Well, I guess that's like all my stuff. And my goal is 1 million. I doubt I'll ever have like a viral video, but hopefully my channel will go viral. But I don't know how that works either. I know that YouTube gives you some kind of award. They give you some kind of like a monetary bonus. I'm not really sure what that is, and I don't care how long it takes. I'll just continue to do what I do, and we'll get there one day. Anyway. And I'm sorry if I've got like a scowl on my face, but I'm not wearing my sunglasses today, and it is a little bright out here. I've been in the building that I work in, it's not real bright. It's brighter outside than it is in the building I work in. So it takes a few minutes for my eyes to get adjusted, I guess, something like that, you know. Anyway. So what's everybody up to today? Anybody got any big plans for the weekend? I get the house to myself this weekend. Of course, I've got some stuff I need to do. I got a deck on the back of my house that I need to fix. It's when they built the deck, they put lag bolts in, like, you know, I don't know, probably 3/4 inch, 1 inch lag bolts into the concrete in the house. And when they bolted it down, I guess they didn't put any kind of sealer or any kind of like waterproof paint or anything like that on it. So I've been in this house for I've been in this house for 13 years, and you know, you don't maintain a deck. Nobody ever really, you know, takes the time to go out and, you know, put sealer and shit. Well, anyway, the bolts where the bolt holes are all rotted out, and so the board, it's like a 2x6 or 2x8 that runs across the back of my house, is rotted, and the weight from that end of the deck, because when whoever built the deck didn't put any kind of support other than that board on the back side of the deck, so it's where we come in and out of the door, and it rotted and it's dropped like 3 or 4 inches. So my plan, I got a motorcycle jack from work that they, you know, we had some equipment that we're trying to get rid of, so I volunteered to take one of the motorcycle jacks. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this motorcycle jack, put a piece of wood or something on it, on top of it, and I'm going to jack it up with some cinder blocks. But I'm going to have to run a board from one side to the other so that I have something to push against. And when I do that, I'm going to jack the deck back up to where it's supposed to be, and then I'm going to take these, I'm probably going to end up taking some cinder blocks or pavers and building like supports, you know, and then I'll go about halfway up in the deck forward, and I'll put a couple more like in the center on one of the main runners, because it's all, the smart thing they did when they built this deck was they put 2x6s you know, side by side like this as your running rails from front to back. It's just too bad that they didn't take the time to do that with the wood that they put across the back of the house, or any way to protect it from getting, you know, wet and rotted. I figured it'd probably take me about a half a day to do this, but on one side of the deck, the ground has an incline or slope in it. So it's got some concrete poured. I guess they had like a pad for the trash and recycle bins, so that they didn't have to go outside. I got a fence right there too, so they didn't have to go outside the fence. And where'd all my viewers go? I guess they're not interested in hearing me talk. But anyway, so I'm going to jack the deck up and then put some wooden wedges or some plastic or something in there, something durable, you know, heat treated, or not heat treated, chemically treated wood, you know, that like, I don't know, or some galvanized slats or something, you know, to keep it, you know, being sturdy and everything, or whatever. I don't know. I'm not really sure what to do with it. I guess once I get there, you know, I'll figure it out a little better. Oh, we got a truck broke down over here. Way to go, FedEx. Got a FedEx truck broke down on the right-hand side of the road. People are slowing down. That sounds like a personal problem. Yeah, I know, right? It is. It's a personal problem. I don't know. I get so enthralled in, you know, my thinking process that I get lost sometimes. You know, those blonde moments. Ashley, you should know what blonde moments are like, right? You get it, honestly, right? Anyway, so that's what I'm planning on doing Saturday if the weather holds out. I don't really want to do this if it's going to be too hot. So I'll probably take care of this like Saturday morning before, you know, the sun comes out too much. But we've had some really nice weather here in Missouri the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. It's been like we got into the 90s yesterday. I think it's like 84 degrees right now. And 84 is not bad. You know, I've had fans on me all day in the shop and stuff like that. Don't remind you. Yeah, right. Don't remind you. Yeah, don't remind me. Right. I got it. I get you. I get it. But anyway, so then I don't know what I might take the motorcycle out for a ride. If anybody's interested, I got a motorcycle for sale. It's a 2019 Harley Davidson Iron 883 extra low. It's what they call an XL, but it's an extra low. I've got some aftermarket parts that I put on it. I'm asking, first person that shows me $5,000 cash can have it. I've got a title for it. It's already paid for, so I got a clear title on it. All you got to do is show me the cash, and I'll give you the title. Well, I'll sign it over to you first. I'll give you the title. Take off. Let's see, what is it? Jim Earhart 3843 or 3483. Yeah, same as my handle here on YouTube. Anyway, but you got to bring a trailer, because when I sell it, I'm taking the tag off of it. And if you don't have insurance, you wreck it. That's not my problem. That's your problem. Anyway. So bring a trailer. It does run. It runs great. It's got 3,400 miles on it, I think. Maybe 35. I don't drive it much. I've had it since it was brand new. I bought it brand new in 2020, right before the whole, COVID scam thing happened. So the scamdemic, like I like to call it, the scamdemic. And I don't know. I drove it a lot, like when I first got it, but then, I realized how stupid people are on the road, and I just kind of lost interest in driving it. I got other toys I can drive, so don't worry about it too much. What do you say, Pastor Huckleberry? How's it going? Top of the day to you as well, sir. I decided to take off a little early from work today. I've been working, 10-hour days and 9-hour days, but I couldn't stay at work and, stay gainfully employed without finishing up everything I have to do. And then if I did that and I went in tomorrow morning, I wouldn't have anything to do. So I'm saving the 3. I'm an inspector for a living. That's what I do. I inspect vehicles and do paperwork, take pictures and shit like that. One of those gravy jobs. I got one of those gravy jobs. So it's in quality control anyway. And I've got some vehicles sitting in my lanes that need to be inspected, but if I had done those today and stayed another couple hours and finished those up, then I'd be sitting around twiddling my thumbs in the morning, and I don't like to do that. So, I kind of feel like I'm stealing company time when if that happens. So I decided to go ahead and take off. I just worked 8 today. And, tomorrow is the end of the week. We got a lot of stuff. I've got a schedule I have to go by, and at the end of the week. And if I've got everything, if I don't have everything done, then, I'll probably end up staying 10 hours tomorrow just to make sure that I get what needs to be out the door out. It works out sometimes. When I hate is when I have the end of the month is on a Friday, because the end of the month is different from end of the week. It's like end of the month is when we got all the garbage that we were supposed to get out the other weeks of the month and didn't. So those are all due by the end of the month. So I hate it when, we got end of month and end of week on the same Friday. That really sucks. But anyway, so you get the point. Yeah, no kidding. But I was talking about, I know you build decks for a living, don't you, Huckleberry? I got a deck on the back of my house I got to fix this weekend. I bought this house in 2011, And the deck, when they built it, they put like a header board or whatever it is, they mounted it to the house with lag bolts. And they used like a 2x6 or 2x8, I think it's a 2x6, to support one end of the deck. And then there's no supports between that and the other end of the deck where the stairs are. So over the years, with the moisture getting in there, it has it's rotted, and the deck has dropped about 4 inches on that end. So what I've got to do, I've got a motorcycle jack. What I'm going to do is put the motorcycle jack underneath the deck and put a piece of wood all the way across from one end to the other. I'll probably use like a 2x8 treated wood, and I'm going to jack it up, and then I'm going to put cinder block columns, probably 3 across the back, and then I'm going to put probably 1 or 2 in the center between the front and the back of the deck. This deck, I think, is it's like a 10x8 or something like that. I don't know the exact size. I've never measured it, but I know it's 10 feet wide because I've had to replace boards in there, and I had to use 10-foot planks. So I've got kind of a plan together. Hopefully I can get it done, in about a half a day or whatever. The only problem is that on one side I have a slope, and there's a pallet or like a flat built there where I guess your deck builder and houses. Okay, yeah, I'm an electrician by trade, but I don't do that anymore. I got out of that shit. Couldn't make any money, especially living in Missouri where all these electrical contractors, they're all union. They want you to be union, and I'm not, and I'm not going to work for a union. But anyway, on one end, there's like a concrete patio, basically, and it has a slope on it. So I've got to bust some of the concrete out and dig. God, I hate shovels, but I got to dig some of that shit out of there and set the blocks inside. I'm gonna I'll put pavers down first, like along the back of the house, and I'll make it real flat, and I'll put pavers, and then I'll stack blocks, stack 2 this way, and then stack them this way, and then this way. There's only about 3 or 4 feet from the ground to the bottom of the planks on the decks, or the runners, or whatever they're called. I don't know. I don't build decks, so I don't know what they're called, but I know how to fix it, kind of. Anyway, it's going to be jerry rigging time, but hopefully it'll be stable enough that I won't have to worry about the deck moving anymore. On the other end, they've got some steel posts. One has a cup on it like this, where the runners sit inside of it, and it's like I don't know, 1.5 inches or something like that, galvanized pipe, and then it goes on a piece of flat metal on the other end. But what they did is they put gravel under there, so it's settled on that end, and but it's stable, you know what I mean? And they got some metal staircase where they put 2x6s across, or 2x8s across. And I've already replaced those. The guy that lives next door is an architect, and he helped me rebuild the stairs. And then I had to run the side rails, that go down. One of the boards had rotted out, and he helped me get all that squared away. So you're thinking about taking a nap? Okay, Ashley. Well, say hello to Pastor Huck before you leave. Pastor Huck is from, aren't you in Virginia, Pastor Huck? Somewhere like that? I mean, I've listened to you, but sometimes I get distracted. I don't pay very close attention. Pastor Huck, that Ashley there, my moderator, that's my youngest girl. She lives in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And then my mom's on here from time to time. I don't see her right now, but she's on here from time to time. Anyway, so I'm almost home, folks. It only took me 25 minutes to get home today. Wow. And I didn't lose my video. How about that? Yeah, Virginia, North Carolina. Actually, I am from North Carolina. When I was a kid, I lived in Gainesville, Virginia. I don't know if you know where Gainesville is. It's up, it's between Warrenton and Manassas. Hamerton or Hagerton or something like that is up there too. So I spent, from the time I was probably 4 or 5 years old, no, I wasn't 5 yet. I was probably 3 or 4 years old. I lived in Gainesville, Virginia. And then I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina when I was, well, I don't know, it was 1977. I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and then I lived there up until 2010. I moved to Missouri. So, but I've lived, back and forth between North and South Carolina a few times anyway. But yeah, I know, like I said, I worked in construction for a long time in the Charlotte area, and because that's a right to work state. So when I would, if I lost a job, or if I decided I didn't like the way things were going, I could quit a job, walk to the next job site and say, hey, I'm an electrician, I'm looking for work. Well, when do you want to start? I'll start tomorrow. So it was no big deal. I used to be able to do shit like that. Well, when I moved to Missouri, it was playing a whole different ball game. Oh, check this out. Check this out. Look at this. This in my neighborhood. Look at this shit right here. Look at the deer. Look at this, a baby. Still got her spots. Look at that. Yeah. Some people would call that dinner. But they hang out in my neighborhood like it's nothing, man. It's really cool to see them. Anyway, I'm glad I finally caught them on film, because I've been trying to catch them for a while to show people. Because I think sometimes when I tell people, hey man, I got deer that live in my neighborhood, they think I'm nuts, But my neighbor next door over here, they put out deer corn and water and shit for them. And so they come back. They're somewhat domesticated. My dog goes nuts when he sees them. He thinks they're giant dogs. But that's a mama and her baby. They were in my backyard yesterday. I didn't get any photos, but yeah, that's good eating, Ashley. Dee doesn't like deer meat. I do like deer meat, but I'm not going to go out and kill a deer. I don't know. I guess if I had to survive, I would, but I'm not much of a hunter. I've got firearms and rifles and shit, but I don't hunt, So anyway, all right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna take off. If by the way, if you guys, yeah, they're just chilling. That's right. They're just hanging out on the corner up there, waiting for something to happen, I guess. But I'm gonna take off, guys. Listen, I'll be on again tomorrow around the same time. If you guys want to stop in and see me, for those of you who are going to be watching on the replay, please hit the subscribe button and the like. Give me some likes if you don't mind. I mean, I'm not getting anything monetarily for this, so it really doesn't matter to me, but it's just really cool to see people respond. So I love you too, Ashley. Pastor Huck, I'll see you later on your live feed. I'm sure I'll stop in and watch you for a little bit this evening. I want to hear some more about the Lord. That's what we're talking about. All right, y'all be good. Take care of each other, and we'll see you later. I'm out.